Let's now look at test your knowledge question number 1. An asset which cost rupees 150 has a carrying amount of rupees 100. The cumulative depreciation for tax purposes is rupees 90 and the tax rate is 25%. Calculate the tax base and the corresponding deferred tax asset and the deferred tax liability, if any. All right, so let us actually jot down the facts. All right, so we have the cost given in the question as rupees 150, and the question actually mentioned that the carrying amount is rupees 100, which means that we would have actually charged a depreciation of rupees 50 so far. In the accounts, we would have charged, this is accounting depreciation, we would have charged a depreciation of rupees 50 of rupees 50 so far, and therefore the carrying amount as per accounting books is equal to rupees 100. The carrying amount as per accounting is equal to rupees 100. The second step is, this is basically the first step. What does this carrying amount? Remember, the interpretation of carrying amount of an asset would represent using this 100 rupee. Using this asset, I will basically receive future economic benefits, and those future economic benefits will result in a taxable income of 100 rupees. All right, I will basically use this plant and machinery to produce goods. Those goods will be sold in the market. Therefore, I will have sales of 100 rupees in the future. That sales is going to be my taxable income in future. All right, so that is the interpretation of carrying amount. All right, I'm assuming that this is, let's say, at the end of year 1. I'm assuming that this is at the end of year 1. Now, the second step is with regards to calculating the tax base. Calculating the tax base. If you look at it, what the question mentioned is the cumulative depreciation for tax purposes is actually equal to rupees 90. The cumulative depreciation that has been allowed as a deduction for tax purposes is rupees 90, which means that the tax base, or in my tax balance sheet, this asset would have been carried at 150 less 90, which is equal to 60. 150 minus 90, which is equal to 60 rupees. All right, this would be the tax base of my asset. However, calculated 100 rupees 60, it's basically 150 less 90. 150 is the cost, 90 is the cumulative depreciation that has been already charged as per tax laws. Therefore, on my tax balance sheet, I am going to have the value of this plant and machinery as 60 rupees. The interpretation of tax base is, this is the amount that will be allowed as a deduction in future. 60 rupees is the amount that will be actually allowed as a deduction in future. So in future, I am going to have 100 rupees of taxable income. In future, I will be allowed a deduction of 60 against that 100 income. Therefore, in future, I am going to have a taxable temporary difference. However, I decided that it's a taxable temporary difference because in future, I'm going to actually have 40 rupees of net tax income. I'm going to have a net taxable income of rupees 40. 100 of sales in future, against which depreciation of 60 will be allowed in future. Therefore, my net taxable temporary difference is rupees 40. All right, I'm going to have a net taxable income of 40 rupees in future, on which I will have to pay taxes in future. Because I have to pay taxes in future, I will be recording a DTL today. I'm going to record a DTL. I think the question mentioned the tax rate as 25%. Therefore, my DTL is going to be equal to 40 multiplied by 25%, which is equal to rupees 10. What will the journal entry be? And obviously, step number 5, change in DTL is not applicable because I do not have facts of previous year. I've assumed that this is actually the first year. The question did not mention whether this is the first year or a subsequent year. It did not give me what is the balance of DTL as per previous year. Therefore, my change in DTL is also equal to rupees 10. Accordingly, my journal entry will be deferred tax expense. It's going to be deferred tax expense debit of 10 rupees and credit deferred tax liability of 10 rupees. All right, so this is going to be my journal entry over here with respect to creation of DTA and DTL. All right, so that is with regards to question number 1 of TYK. Example number 25 is exactly the same as TYK question number 1. All right, example 25 has the same numbers as that of TYK question number 1. Therefore, I'm actually considering example 25 as completed.